Hey guys, this is Jason Lejeune from Gridiron Football. We're here at Division III Select quarterfinal preview here on Ball in the Boot. I'm joined by Alex Allison, Daryl Felker, and Grant Sachere of Crescent City Sports and Rigorous Sports Media. All these guys do a great job, whether it's for Gridiron Football or for Crescent City Sports. Definitely go make sure to follow Gridiron Football on social media as well as Crescent City Sports. Well, guys, let's go and talk about our Division III Select playoff bracket, and this is one of the most fun playoff brackets to talk about as well. As a lot of top-heavy schools, a lot of teams. Really, these four playoff matchups, they all can make a run into the Superdome. So we're going to try to see how short we can keep it. We're going to try to find out. But we're going to start off with the number one seed, Dunham Tigers. I mean, they were able to take care of business again against Parkview Baptist. So a reversal from last year when Parkview Baptist beat Dunham, swept Dunham in the regular season and the playoffs. Dunham was able to do that against Parkview Baptist, 42 to nothing. They'll take on Lafayette Christian, who did in fact get their revenge on Notre Dame, 35 to 28. Closely contested game there. Remember LCA, they're currently on the streak as well. They've been to a lot of state championships in a row. In fact, I think they made 6 state championships in a row. So they've been on quite a run, have a chance to make it another championship appearance. So in order to get through that, they had to go through Dunham. So that'll be a great playoff match between number one Dunham and number 9 LCA. Bunkie was able to avoid some of the problems they had last year when they lost coming off the bye to Episcopal last year. This time they're able to get the job done and were able to pull away from Amy 39 to 14 in convincing fashion. They'll take on another team in that same area in Jules Sumner. This time, Bunkie's going to make the travel to Jules Sumner. After Jules Sumner defeated Solar Charter 48 to 28, but that score was deceiving because it was tied at 21 around closer to halftime. So Jules Sumner was able to pull away, but that was a closer game than a lot of people were indicated. So Jules Sumner will take on Bunkie in the quarterfinals. That should be a fun matchup as well. Program can definitely have a chance to break through. Calvary Baptist, the defending state champions in Division III Select, they will take on Episcopal after Calvary Baptist was able to shut out De La Salle 38 to nothing. I was able to call the Episcopal Pope John Paul game. Episcopal won 24 to 7. It was scoreless at halftime. The Reed Chauvin, we said feed Reed. Boy, did the Knights do that. Reed ran for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Zach Hugh threw a touchdown pass to David Lynn to put the nail in the coffin. The defense played outstanding in that football game. So Calvary Baptist will take on the Episcopal. So the Knights making the travel up to Shreveport. And then our final matchup, Catholic New Iberia got a great performance from Luke LeBlanc. Let's see, 59 to 22, 6 touchdowns in that football game as well. He was dominant, the senior quarterback for Catholic New Iberia over Northlake Christian. They're going to have to take on Isadora Newman, the Greenies, a guy 49 to 19 win over the Arbonne Woods Charter. But the Greenies having a great season, have a chance to try to break through and finally get to the Superdome. So the Greenies will take on Catholic New Iberia. Calvary Baptist will take on Episcopal. Bunkie will take on Jules Sumner. And Dunham will take on LCA. All right, Grant, I'm going to start off with you because you actually have an upset potentially here between Dunham and LCA. The Knights, they are explosive. They do not have Jawan Johnson that they had the last couple of years, but they're still very explosive on the offensive line. Key playmakers on their team. Dunham, speaking of playmakers, they have the number one quarterback in the country in the 2027 class in Elijah Haven, but they are the number one seed, a favorite to win the state championship. Dunham also trying to get that elusive state championship as well. So who you're taking here should be a great matchup behind the Chapel of the Oaks between Dunham and LCA. Grant, who you're taking in this very entertaining offensive showdown?
This is what, like I said, this is the start of a very tough stretch for Dunham. Like I said, and there's three tests: Bunkie, Jules Sumner, and Amy will all give Dunham different problems. They're all going to give problems for different reasons. But in this quarterfinal match, I said that if Lafayette Christian were to beat Notre Dame, advance to the quarterfinals, this will be a game that is definitely going to be on upset alert. Dunham has, if you look at their schedule, I mean, if whenever they play a team that is pretty decent, they tend to struggle. I went to the game against St. Charles Catholic, and I know St. Charles Catholic is a well
Mhm.
coached team, but they were also dealing with a lot of injuries. They're also a young team that had to replace a good bit of their starters. And despite that, St. Charles Catholic nearly won the game. Matter of fact, they probably should have won the game. Uh, and in the games they played, like St. Charles Catholic and Ascension Catholic, they scored 20 and 21 points, but against everybody else, they tend to blow them out. Like even in an Episcopal game, they only won 18-0, and I think
Mhm.
they beat a better Episcopal team last year by a wider margin.
Yeah.
And I think going up against this Lafayette Christian team that's a lot more motivated. It seems like since they fired the coach, I know it's kind of unfortunate, but they've been playing better football. This is a team that put up 35 points of Rummel's defense, by the way.
Yeah.
And Rummel's defense is very
Yeah.
good. Don't ignore the 69 points that Carr put on them. Okay, that Carr. I mean, obviously Carr is on a different level of football that only a few teams in the city actually have. But Lafayette Christian can score. They have a lot of great. They have a lot of talent. Braylon Walker, I believe it. I think he's either close or has broken the single season receiving yard record.
Yeah.
They just got a lot of really good players
Yeah.
on
Jalen
offense
Noel.
and defense. I mean, just so they have a lot of athletes, and I think Dunham is a very experienced. So I'll say it's an experienced team, but so is Dunham. They have
Mhm.
guys that played on that 2022 state championship runner-up team.
Yep.
But I'm gonna have to go with the upside. I'm gonna have the Lafayette Christian winning on the road again to beat Dunham. Because I think Dunham has, they're a really good team, but I think that the defensive front isn't that big. I think losing JJ for the year really hurts him because I think he would have been a difference maker in this game. I know Colin Peak is a really good running back,
Yeah.
but losing a guy like JJ Harris is huge
Mhm.
in this type of game against a Lafayette Christian team. I think I think Dunham. I'm not saying Dunham's a bad team, but I still have some questions about this Dunham team because whenever they play against a team like a Lafayette Christian or a St. Charles or somebody that is of a high caliber, they tend to not play like themselves. That's when they usually have those low scoring games. If the offense can produce points, then I think Dunham can win. However, this could be a game where they have to find ways to score in different ways because sometimes you can't really rely on Elijah Haven to make all the plays he
Mhm.
wants because he's just one dude. He's a 6-year-old kid. He's not like we have Jane Daniels on the field. Okay, like he's
Mhm.
still 56 and he's the number one recruit in the country for a
Yeah.
reason. But look, like he's still a 6-year-old kid. He's not Jane Daniels. Like so.
15.
Well, he's 16. He
Yeah.
has a late birthday.
Yeah.
He's
I
16.
thought he turned 14 last year, and he turned
No,
15
he
during
turned
the season.
50 during
Turned
50.
15.
So he turned 50
Oh,
during the Episcopal game, actually. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the day.
It was
That day was his
birthday,
birthday.
15.
Yeah.
I thought he turned 14 during that game. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
it was 15.
No.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely had a good birthday present against
Yeah.
Pittsburgh that game last year. But uh, I, I'm gonna go against you here, Grant. I'm gonna go with Dunham. I know the reason you just said. I get the reason you just said, but that's also the reason why I'm picking them because whenever they played against good teams and their offense hasn't been up to par, guess what stepped up? Their defense. So they are more of a
Yeah.
complementary team than a lot of people give them credit for and they can win these shootouts. I mean, you got Elijah Haven. You can score and make it a high scoring shootout. But at the same time, if it gets ugly, they can rely on their running game, their defense to bail them out. Even if it's Elijah Haven just run the ball. That's what they did against the Pistons. They find a way. They're a complementary team. Like they just find ways to win. And you look at their schedule this year and what they were able to do. I mean, those are good teams they played. St. Charles Catholic, Ascension Catholic, Episcopal. Those are good teams, and for them to find a way to win those games, they're dangerous, man. Even I saw him in the scrimmage against U High. That's a good defense. And Elijah Haven, lit them up. So they can win in a shootout. They can win an ugly type of game. Now, if they played these like high scoring shootouts where it was just on the offense, I would agree with you, Grant. I probably would have picked LCA. But seeing them win these ugly games gives me confidence in this football team to make that deep run and prove as the number one seed. So I'm gonna go with the Dunham Tigers here. So Grant went with LCA. I went with Dunham. Alex, who you're going with here?
This is a really good game. I got to see both of these teams playing. I got to see both of these teams playing higher level competition.
Yeah.
Because I saw LCA play Karen Cruz like 4A, 3A. Am I misremembering that?
And 5A.
Or maybe even 5A. Yeah, Karen Cruz. So like big school. And I watched Dunham play U High.
Yeah.
Which is only a 3A school, but is U High. And I watched him in the Jamboree, and I watched Elijah Haven there, and he was awesome. And he's the sort of player that it doesn't really matter what the rest of the team looks like, and the rest of the offense looks like. He's going to give you a chance to win every game you play. And LCA is a really complete team. Around a young quarterback in Braylon Walker that has developed a lot during the season. He showed those flashes in the Karen Crow game. Their only win like early in the year, in the Lockhart era, and then they've kind of improved since the coaching change, and they've. It's also an interesting matchup because LCA is a little bit more battle tested in terms of like playing bigger teams, right? They played Karen Crow, they played Rummel, they played like a bunch of really, really good teams early in the year that Dunham hasn't played like as big of schools, generally speaking. And so it explains the discrepancy in the power ratings as well as the discrepancy in the record, where LCA has like a losing record or something like that, but they're a much better team than that record indicates.
Yeah, they are.
And Dunham is undefeated, but they haven't been. This isn't Haynesville or Shaw or Carr, one of these teams that's just dominating their competition all the time. But which way does that cut? Because we talked about earlier that Dunham is a team that is a little bit. I mean, that sometimes you have a team that is blowing out everybody. Once they get punched in the face, how do they respond? We know how Dunham responds. I actually changed my mind about twice during the recording of this video. I went into the recording thinking I'm gonna take Dunham, and then the more I thought about it, I'm gonna take LCA. I'm gonna end up taking Dunham to win the game. But this is the closest I am. I watch both these teams. These teams are really good. They're really, really good. They're really complete teams. And the one thing I'll just say as a blanket statement, because I don't want to say this, I don't reiterate this every time because we're going to be here all day. These might be the 4 most fun games of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
You could make an argument, not just 4 of the best, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've been fighting over myself for which of these 4 games to go to. Yeah. This is an awesome loaded bracket with this quarterfinal matchup. The whole slate is great, and I'm super excited to see all of these games. This is the one bracket that I wish I had like a NFL Sunday ticket or like Red Zone that was just bouncing between games. Yeah, so I could watch all of them. This is going to be really exciting, and this is going to be one of the most exciting matchups. Absolutely.
Yes, Grant.
Division 4 select is better.
We're about to talk about next.
I know, Bombs. I know. I'm giving a little secret. I think Division 4 is better. Alex is right. This is a great bracket, but I think Division 4 is better.
The thing I like about Division 3 is that it feels more wide open.
Yes,
Division 4 is awesome, but there's this feeling about Vermilion Catholic that we kind of all think they're going to win the title.
I know, so but I mean, you guys also all picked Dunham to win the state championship, except for me. No. We all picked Calvary. Did we all pick Calvary?
I picked Calvary.
You picked Calvary. I picked Newman. I think Jace picked Calvary, and I think Daryl picked Dunham.
I think I picked Cal. I
picked
either Dunham or Calvary.
But we had like 4 different combinations of the state championship.
Yeah.
So it was unclear.
Yeah, I think even Division 4, even though we all picked Vermilion, there's a lot of different teams that can easily win. In the quarterfinals alone, all of those teams could literally win the state championship. I know Vermilion Catholic's the favorite, but any of those teams could literally beat Vermilion Catholic.
It's really close, by the way. Both of those brackets are awesome.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Let's go to Daryl too, because we're going to be tied up with a lot of different brackets, Daryl. I mean, so far we got 2 for Dunham, we got 1 for LCA. Are you leaning towards Grant? Or are you leaning towards us, Daryl?
I originally was going to go with Dunham, but they haven't lost yet, and that can be a good or a bad thing. And it's a lot of pressure on this game. This is probably one of the biggest matchups they've had this season. it's a kind of upset alert already. And LCA doesn't really have much to lose. They've lost already, but they lost to really good teams as well. They lost to Rummel, Shaw, Central. So they played some really tough teams. And I think that their regular seasons, I think that LCA is going to have the edge on just being more battle tested and just having to play those tough games against those tough opponents and even losing sometimes, but kind of learning through every loss what you need to improve on. And I mean, they had a big win last week over Notre Dame. So I'm going to roll with the upset here. I'll roll with Grant and I'll go with LCA.
All right, so we got two.
You know what Dunham reminds me of? It reminds me of this year's like Kansas City Chiefs team in some ways.
Yeah, a
Like
little
the
bit.
first half of the season, where like they're until the Bills game they were undefeated, but they looked like the ugliest undefeated team of all time. That's the sort of like
which doesn't make sense, but yeah, I mean it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. All right, guys, let's go to our second playoff game, and we're able to get this one right with Bunk, except for Grant. I know Grant went for Amy, but Bunky was able to put up a statement here defeating Amy. You know, Kyle Johnson, Dylan Compton, they are a senior group wants to get to the state championship game because I know that they're all in this year. But again, they're going to have to play a really good team down in that Kentwood area, man, in the area. So Jules Sumner, and Jules Sumner's a really good football team. They won their district in a tough district this year. So it's going to be a really good football game. I know, Alex, you're going to be going to that one and covering that one between the Cowboys and the Bunky Panthers. Jules Sumner won 48-28. So a couple of gridiron football All-American Bowl game commits for Bunky, so we're excited about that. Grant, I know you covered Jules Sumner a couple times, and a couple thrilling games you were able to cover. I guess every time you go and show up, it's guaranteed an overtime game for Jules Sumner. But Jules Sumner was able to play Bunky, and I know you picked Amy. I know Amy was kind of like your dark horse to go to the state championship game and make it pretty far. With them being out, what do you think about this matchup? Does it change your opinion on Bunky, or I know you're high on Jules Sumner, or you're rolling with the Cowboys?
Oh boy, this is a tough one. This is really tough because I actually, yeah, like you said, Jason had Amy going to the state championship. I expected them to make a dark horse. Consider how they played the second half of the year. But this is interesting for different reasons. Number one, Jules Sumner. I'm not sure what the status is on Jamon Dyson, which will change some things. I don't know how bad his injury is. It seems like it was bad enough we had to go to the hospital. So if he's out, I think this plays in Bucky's hands even more. Do they now? They do have other backs in that stable. They have a great stable of run backs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Jamon Dice is a difference maker on both sides of the ball. And in that game against Amy, he had 200 yards of rushing, a touchdown, 9 tackles of defense, and then the game-winning 2-point conversion. And really, he set up all of besides the one he scored, he set up basically all of Jules Sumner's touchdowns too. But I'm probably have to go with Bunky in this one because I don't know what the health is like for Jamon Dyson. I think that makes a huge difference this game. I think Jules Sumner would make this. I think this is going to be close because of what Jules Sumner, of course, runs the WT, so they run the ball. They like to waste a lot of time off the clock. Can Jules Sumner win this game? Of course they can. But I think with Jamon Dyson, we're not sure about his health. Or he might be out. Because from what it sounds like, he might be out. I'm gonna have to roll with the Bucky Panthers to advance to the semifinals. Will they play? In my opinion, will they play Lafayette Christian?
I'm gonna go with Bunky. Had them rolling against winning that game against Navy last week. I'm gonna still roll with Bunky because they are a senior-led team. Kyle Johnson, Dylan Compton, a lot of senior leaders. It's now or never for this Bunky team, and I think they realize that, and their seniors realize that. I know Jamon Dyson's a big that injury update is going to be big. If he plays not, that's going to be a big difference in this football game too. But I like Bunky's explosive weapons, their offense. They're a veteran team, a lot of seniors on this football team, so they know that this is it. This is their best shot. So I gotta go with Bunky on the road, and Bunky being able to go to the semifinals will be big for this program as well. So I got the Panthers. This should be a great football game, and Joel Sumner has made some strides this year. They won their first district championship in 20 years. Coach Curry does a great job. They're physical, they're tough, they're long too. So they're athletic, so they can match up with Bunky. But I'm gonna go with the Panthers just because of their experience here. So I got Bunky winning. Alex, I know you're gonna be covering this game for Gridiron.
Yeah, I'll make this quick. I really hope there's some way for Jamal Dyson to play, because you want to see these teams at their full force, right? And Jewel Sumner's at their best when Jamal Dyson's on the field. So I really hope that he can at least play a little bit, although it sounds pretty bleak, and that's going to make a lot of difference in terms of the hype of the game. I am going to take Bunky. Bunky was my pick to make the dome on this side. And so I'm not going to be changing that now, but I think it'll be a really exciting game. There's a reason why I want to go to it. So yeah, that's about it.
All right, Daryl, you agree with all of us that it's gonna be Bunky, or you got Jewel Sumner?
Yeah, I'm going to roll with. I'm going to roll with you guys as well. I'm going to go with Bunky. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep it kind of short. I think I think their performance last week after Amy had a shutout in round 1, they put up 39 points. That means something to me. So I'm going to give them my vote of confidence.
Yeah, Grant, you had something you're about to say?
No, I thought you called my name. I was like confused. It's like I said Bunky.
No. I said Daryl.
Yeah. Like I was confused for a second, but yeah, you're good.
Okay, so all of us have Bunky there. So now let's go to the third matchup. I guess technically I'm not going to pick here.
Yeah, Jace, don't say anything. Don't say anything, Jace.
I'll introduce the show. Okay, Episcopal. Episcopal that comes in as a 6th seed. Of course, they're led by a great running back by the name of Reed Chobet. Jason, what's the name of the quarterback? I know they had a quarterback change recently.
Oh yeah, so Zach Hugh and Brody Bailey.
Okay, so they got Zach Hugh and Brody Bailey quarterback. I think they both switch out. Is that correct? They switch out?
Yeah.
Okay, they switch out. All right, because both bring something different to the table. Nathan Sanchez, great he's another great back. He's also a great defensive back. He is committed to the Gridiron Football All-American game. I did see the Twitter, so I remember that. Todd Callahan is a great linebacker as well. However, Episcopal is out one of their better linebackers. I forgot. Jason, what's his name?
Chase Preston. He played on Friday.
He did play. So he is healthy. He's ready to go. Okay, against this game against Calvary Baptist. However, Calvary Baptist is one of the top offenses in the state. Gabriel Mordell throws the ball. He's deadly accurate. Last year, he threw for over 40 touchdowns. Only had 2 interceptions this year. I'm not sure where his style is this year, but I'm pretty sure it's awfully similar. Pretty good, right? Caleb Tucker, really good receiver. Okay. What's his name? Kobe Thomas? Tucker. No, Caleb Tucker and Kobe Thomas. Kobe Thomas caught the game-winning touchdown catch against St. Charles. He's also having a great year. Of course, you got James Simon, last but not least. Yep. He's a guy's committed to 4-star running back, committed to Texas. Should be a really good game. However, Calvary is the overall my favorite. Alex, who you have?
Calvary, pretty simple. I think Calvary's going to win, maybe even a little bit comfortably.
Okay. All right. What about you?
It's tough. I think Episcopal will be able to put up a fight, but I have Calvary pulling out the win.
Okay. All right. That was a good job, Grant. You did a great job there.
Grant, who's your pick, Grant?
Yeah.
I have Calvary winning the whole thing. So
right.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
So I mean, yeah.
All I'm going to say, I'll just say kind of like the keys of the game here, basically. But Episcopal's defense, as far as calling games for them, their defense is the best defense I've covered since I've been calling games for Episcopal, since I've been there. Defensively, I think they can give this offense some trouble, and their defense does a great job of adjusting. But the thing is, can they get enough of their offense? Reed Chauvin is a great option, right? A great number 1 option. But against Calvary, you're going to have to find that consistent number 2 option to beat them. The counter punch, right? What's going to be your counter punch to Calvary? So that's going to be the biggest question there. But, they can make it interesting. I know everybody's saying Calvary, but they can make it interesting, this Episcopal team. And especially if it comes to a dogfight, Episcopal's got a great shot. But if Calvary, inserts their will early in this game, that's going to be the big thing to me. the first 5 or 10 minutes of this game is going to indicate how this game is. If Calvary's able to score at will and score quickly early on, Pistols got no shot. But if it's a dogfight at halftime, then Pistols got a shot. So the first couple minutes of this football game is going to tell how this game goes. All right, so let's go to the next game, the final playoff game, and that is Catholic New Iberia and Isidore Newman. We talk about Newman, guys. I mean, Newman is one of those teams like a Pistol. Pistol trying to get over that quarterfinal hump. Newman's trying to get over that semifinal hump as well. So they're going to have to do that to start before looking ahead, totally ahead. They're going to have to go against Catholic New Iberia, who's been a really good football team this year. And this is going to be a really good game on paper as well. So that's going to be very intriguing to watch. Luke Landry's been a really good quarterback for Catholic New Iberia, one of the better quarterbacks in this bracket, coming off 6 touchdowns in the last game over North Lake Christian. Newman's defense is tough. Grant, this is an intriguing matchup between this explosive offense and Captain Iberia led by a really good quarterback and his physical defense here from Newman. Do you think Newman, they're trying to overcome that hump as I was talking about, Grant? Can they do that or at least make the next step in trying to do that? Is the semis? Or do you think Captain Iberia with a senior quarterback who can get offense can get it done?
This is a very interesting matchup. Of course, these are two teams that have had a lot of success. Catholic New Iberia, of course, they're a very good team, a very good program. They've been to multiple state championships. Their only state championship win was in 2017, where they defeated Notre Dame. Those two teams have a long, long rivalry. Catholic New Iberia is, their only loss was against Vermilion Catholic, but since the first game of the year, but since then they've won every single game, and actually they blew out Notre Dame. It's not. Whenever if Catholic New Iberia does beat Notre Dame, it's usually in a very close game. They blew them out the stadium. And Catholic New Iberia has been very impressive. However, the difference in this game will be the line of scrimmage. Newman is much bigger than Catholic New Iberia on both lines of scrimmage. The offensive line is much bigger than Newman's. Newman's defensive offensive line is much bigger than Catholic New Iberia's defensive line. Kind of same. Now the Catholic New Iberia's offense is big, but Newman's defensive line, they average about 6'2", 250. They have a pretty big line on both sides, which is why Newman. A lot of people have Newman going to the Dome. I think it's a toss between Newman and Calvary. Both teams are really good, and that'll probably be the game of the best game in the state of New Orleans. Although Carr and Catholic's a possibility. Carr and Catholic's more of a statewide thing. Newman and it's kind of a 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Those two schools, but I think Newman will win this one. I think this game could be relatively close, but I think Newman will pull it out in the end.
Yeah, Newman's has some good teams. I mean, we talk about Arch Manning, we talk about Odell Beckham. They had some great players, right? Obviously, but this may be their best team and best shot that Newman's had here. I'm gonna go with Nelson Stewart. He's always been right there. Semifinals can't just get over that hump. Well, I think they'll have another shot at it. Their defense is solid. I think they'll match up pretty good against Catholic New Iberia's offense, which has been good this year. Their running game's been really good. Jake Randall's a really good running back to watch out for. Eli Friend is a good friend, by the way, at the quarterback position. He's a really good player, and he's probably as good of an option you can find since replacing Arch Manning, and he's been really good for the Greens as well. They're physical. They got a great offensive line. They're tough. I like their makeup here to defeat Catholic New Iberia. That's a good Catholic New Iberia team, but I think it sets up where they can try and make another shot, at least try and make the state championship game. So, Daryl, I'm going to go with you first. Who you have between the Greenies and the Panthers?
I want to start by saying this is probably the first bracket where I really feel like I can go 0 for 4 on picking this week, just because all of the matchups are so close.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna roll with you guys. I'm gonna roll with Newman as well. I think I had them going to the semifinals originally, and I mean, nothing has changed my mind yet. But I definitely do think this will be a good game, and it'll be a good test for them.
All right, Alex, you're going against the Green here. You're going with the Greenies to advance to the semifinals.
No, I mean it's the same situation. Newman was my state championship pick. I had them as the state champions. Nothing's gonna change. Catholic New Iberia is really good, really really good, and I feel like it's getting a little bit forgotten. Not like here, but like in general. That like partially because of the draw, because I think Newman is just that great of a football team. But yeah, I'll give Newman the nod here. It could very easily be very close, and I mean Catholic New Iberia can win the game.
Yeah.
But I think Newman will win. I think Newman is going to be winning. They're my pick to win the state championship, and I'm not going to be moving away from that at this point.
All right, guys. So this is our final look at the brackets here. So Newman will take on Catholic New Iberia. Calvary Baptist will take on Episcopal. Bunkie will take on Joel Sumner, and Dunham will take on LCA. All these are these 8 teams are really all really good teams. And definitely make runs at the Division III select will definitely be a fun bracket to watch. So this is another bracket breakdown here on Ballin' the Boot for Alex Allison, for Daryl Felker, for the invisible Grant Sasseray. And we'll see y'all next time on another edition of our playoff bracket breakdowns here on Ballin' the Boot.